let's see, so iRendering.net, the cloud rendering service. So they're also known as something else, I believe. Pricing, just so that you get a bit of an overview. 50% bonus for newly registered customers. First recharge within 24 hours. That's nice to know. So these are the things that they're offering. So GPU server with 1 RTX 3090, 2 RTX 3090s, 4 RTX 3090s, or 4 RTX 3080s. They also have others here. They have 8 3090s, 10 3090s, not quite available yet. They also have CPU only services. And these are prices by the hour. So if we were to have this one, I can either, so I have 200 render credits promotionally been given, and that means that, so 200 render credits divided by, say, $11 an hour, that's about 18 hours that I could get this one for free. I'm thinking I might go with this one. 3080s are just fine for me, I'm thinking. So that is 200 divided by 8, that's 25 hours. So that gives us an hour to get the instance sorted and about 24 hours worth of rendering time. Might be a little bit optimistic, but we'll see how it goes. I'm certainly not a robot. And I'd like to try out DAZ Studio for this animation, and I'd also like to try out, what's it called here, a little bit of Blender while we're at it. So let's see how it goes. The moment I hit add here, somewhere, GPU hub, create image, that's the one. I think that's what I need to do. And the moment I do this, from the moment I do this, it will go and start charging me. So it's about 5:30 now. Let's go and do this. See what we can come up with. Please help me through this. So single card server, 380 an hour, 2 to 4 card servers. These ones here. This is the one I'm thinking of going with. And I can go and see if it's full actually as well. That's the other thing. I can see server availability here. That's quite nice. So you can see how they have it. They've got full. I don't know. That means we can have it. Low probably means low availability, or does it mean low means we can? I'll find out, I guess. This is for Linux and this is for Windows, so I can pick myself an operating system as well. It's kind of cool. Create image. Let's do that. Let's try it. So 2 to 4 card. We could go with the single card as a test instance, and if that works well, I can go and spin that image up on the larger server. That's also a possibility. What shall we do? Should we go with just burn through credits straight away without knowing really what we're doing, or what do you think? What's the best approach here? What do you think? I'm thinking since we want to get some value out of it, might as well just go with this here. Let's see if it works. Continue. What do you think? Let's do this. Continue. With Windows, I'll call it DAZ Studio Subway Animation, perhaps. With Windows, clean image or pre-install software. No, maybe clean image. I like the idea of that. 4 3080s. Price 8 an hour. Xeon W2245. All right, create image. This is exciting, isn't it? Creating, it says up here, top right. This may take up to 5 minutes. We have the time. How do you think we're going to log into this thing? I haven't quite thought that through. Should have maybe thought about this before we create random images here. Let's see if we can work it out. What is iRender? We know that. Workflow, register, make payments, transfer files, server selection, boot system, connect to remote server. Let's see what we can do there. With RDP, yep, that we can do. RDP is lovely. Or with Secure Shell, or any other bits and pieces. Let's do RDP then. Download file remote desktop. Perfect, so that's how we're going to do that. RDP for the initial going in there. Then I'll install No Machine, because No Machine starts DAZ Studio better than RDP can. So RDP is kind of limited in the way it's using OpenGL, I believe. I think that was the reason. I can't quite remember, to be really honest. I just remember that RDP didn't quite work. VNC did work, and something else also didn't quite work, but No Machine worked flawlessly, so I think I'm gonna go with No Machine. That's just like a VPN client, so. How are we doing here? Boot ready! Oh my goodness! Do you see that? That was fast. That was not 5 minutes. That was 2 minutes perhaps. Shall we go boot? Let's boot this thing. See what happens. Boot machine. Oh my goodness. ID yada yada yada. Size 23 gigabytes. Z drive is network drive used for file transferring only. So after connecting to remote server, make this a bit bigger here. Thanks. Jay's old eyes don't quite get it otherwise. You need to copy file from Z drive to C drive and set up your render output at C drive. Once finished rendering, only need to copy files from C drive to Z drive and turn off server. Files will be synchronized to GPU hub sync. Yeah, we don't really need that. I'm going to do this via OneDrive, so that should be good. Boot and shutdown time depend on how many files you put on C drive desktop on remote server. The smaller the image size, the faster the booting shutting down. You should delete all installers and unnecessary files on C drive to free up space for next usage. Yes, do not forget to deactivate your software license before shut down the server, because you will connect with random computer available each usage. Yeah, we don't want to do that. That's cool. Starting. Process can take 5 to 15 minutes. This is exciting, isn't it? I find this exciting. Super exciting. I love the idea to say, hey, you have something that you want to render in high res. Don't buy the GPUs, just hire them for a day, couple of hours, 10 hours, whatever your application needs. This type of stuff is integrated with higher end rendering softwares that you basically just send your job over to the cloud. It then goes and renders and you just get the product back. And if you had clients, you could go and build clients for that as well. So you don't have to tell them, hey, your animation is going to be ready in 2 weeks because that's what I need at home to render it. You can say, no, it's going to be available much faster than that. So, oh, there we go. Connect, shutdown, and scheduler. Estimated usage, price 8 an hour, start time 5:36 p.m. Oh my goodness. Shall we press the connect button? What's the scheduler do? Let's not worry, let's connect. I'm excited. Let's go and connect. Download the remote RDP file, open remote desktop, enter the iRender account password. Yes. I don't quite remember that. I have it written down somewhere, so I can probably go and make that somehow happen. So download the remote desktop file. Check. Will do. That's the one. And then what did they say? Then they said open remote desktop. Just use connect with that file and then enter the password. Okay, gotcha. That needs to go and just connect. Connect. There we go. I was thinking of copying this into something more sensible. I might not. Don't ask me again. It's cool. Connect. All right. Password here. And remember me. Let's see, shall we? Identity is fine. Oh my. This is exciting. Other user. All right. Look at that. Password swordfish. Yes, I like it. There we go. Clean Windows surface. All right. Whoa. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to not use mail or the freaking store. That's good. I don't want to do that. I don't really use Microsoft Edge, but in the interest of time, I don't really want to install another browser on here that I'm more comfortable with. I'm going to go and start by downloading DAZ Studio, perhaps. DAZ3D.com. Show more. Keep anyway. Oh, thank you, Brian. Excellent. Keep anyway. And now it goes and downloads it. Aha. Open file. Right. Windows protected your PC. Please don't. Run anyway. This is exciting, isn't it? This is all very nerve-wracking. Thank you for helping me through this. And we're going to install everything in the default locations because I'm good with that. And remember me. And start. Let's see what happens. Clock's ticking, man. Yeah, the application, yes. The interactive lessons, kind of no. And also these things, no. I'm good with any of that. Really, also hexagon probably is more like a no, so let's not do that. And those are the components that we really need, so perfect. This computer's in Vietnam, I'm in Miami Beach. That's exciting. Let's see what happens. See if it works. It might not start properly because it's RDP, so I might have to append a parameter. I've seen that before. But it looks like it's doing okay. Okay, fine, I'll participate. That's cool. And remember me and auto log me in as well. It's awesome. Also, don't show me this again. It's cool. Yay, success. All right. That's good. I'm okay. I don't need to see that. Interface. I want to do a little bit of cleanup on the interface before I get going here, just so that we see if this is actually going to work. Yes, indeed. That's exactly right. Yes. It's a service called irendering.net, and I got some promo credits and I'm going to go and test it out. So far, so good. It's fairly easy to install DAZ Studio on it. I'm going to put that here. Install, we don't need. And draw settings, render settings, simulation settings, we don't need for this. Lights, we don't need for this. Cameras, we don't need for this. Shaping, we don't need for this. Parameters, we often do, so let's put that here. And then aux viewport, we don't need for this. Scene is good. Environment, we don't need for this. We're good. Perfect. That's that. I'm not going to worry about the toolbars. All I'm going to do is under window, I think I'm going to not enable the lesson strip. That's a little bit less stuff to work with here. And that we also don't really need. Let's see if... Oh yeah, there's one other thing that I'd like to install, which is my own product. That's the Stream Safe Textures. And then we'll see if we can render a character just with the default settings. Let's see if it works. There, Stream Safe Textures. So this and the Genesis basic people are the only thing that's installed. Let me go and load something. Genesis 8 tanned, perhaps. We'll see if we can get that rendered. And also how fast that is. I seem to remember the viewport controls via RDP, they don't really work great. So that's one issue. When I left click and drag, that always happens with VPN type things. It's just very erratic. Advanced, that's the one that we're really interested in here, isn't it? So here we have indeed 4 RTX 3080s with the CPU. That's crazy good. Very cool. So let's go and switch this off. CPU I'm not going to use for this. I also don't really want CPU fallback. Active viewport, I think we can leave. Let's see what happens with 5,000 iterations. That's let's try it with maybe 500 iterations first. And with denoiser, let's see if it works. So it does work, and it's in fact so fast that I could barely follow it. Where's the little window here? I didn't even see the window come up. Let's see, 5,000 iterations. Oh, this could be very nice. Let's see. Can we just go and hit resume? I don't see this notification. Oh, there we go. Dude, show me. We need to keep abreast of things. Where is it? I think that's something that's changed in this most recent version of DAZ Studio, that sometimes, especially on remote connections, I can't quite see that notification window. I just like to keep an eye on these things, like, you know, this at the bottom here, I can see things happening, but usually I see this little window and I can't quite see that right now, which is a shame. It did come up, and just want to see how fast things render. There it is. That's what I was thinking about. History, and then we're gonna go put that here. So, wow, that is whizzing by quite fast. It's very, very cool. And it's done already. My goodness. Let's do it again, just because, that's just awesome. Look at that. Look at the amount of iterations it does. I mean, wow. That is good. I like it. I like it. So that's very cool. Now all I need to get going here is the whole thing about connecting my OneDrive account. It is pretty awesome, isn't it? 4 RTX 3080 cards. That is very, very cool. So how do I do that then? If they're having a bit of an issue letting me connect OneDrive here, it's not quite working the way I had expected it. What else can I do? How can I send myself a... Oh, I can probably log in via the web interface, can't I? What does that mean? Translate to English. Let's try that. Stay in United States English. Let's do that. All right. So let's see if I can download myself my project. I don't really mind how it does it, just as long as I have all the data in here. So the way I've done it is quite clever. The products that I'm using are all DAZ products. So DAZ Studio should, upon opening my scene, understand that and then go and tell me what products need to be downloaded. So that's number one. Then the other stuff that I've done manually, that should all be in this folder and referenced properly. So I'll map this as a library folder, and then hopefully things like textures and other kind of custom things that I've made, that should all be in here. It's, keep my fingers crossed. We're still downloading. We're not quite sure how big is this folder. Understanding. Oh my goodness, it's 4 gigabytes. Yeah, that's large, isn't it? That is very large. And we've currently downloaded 200 megabytes. Yeah, that could take a while. So is there another way that I could be clever about this? I really need OBJs. I just need the scene files really, and the OBJs and the PSDs. Don't think I need anything else. I could probably be a little bit more clever about this. Let's go and pause this and delete it, really. So I think all I need is DAZ scenes here. Download that. I think I need the OBJs folder. I'll download that. I think I might also need the PSDs. Just because there's some... No, actually it's the textures folder. That's what I need. So download that. And stream scenes, that's it. Not DAZ scenes, it's actually stream scenes. And I need this one here, stream scene optimizer, I believe. I need that as well. Let's go download all this. Everything else I don't think I need. So I'll go in my downloads folder. I'm just going to go make one folder and call it Subway Tunnel. And that I can map into the into DAZ Studio. So textures, I need to go and just extract that. Can't I just, wasn't that an option here? Extract here, there we go, extract all, namely here, perfect. And textures goes into here. PSDs, I don't know if I need it, but I'll go and do it anyway. PSDs goes into here, and then this and that we don't really need anymore, so go delete that. This is still downloading OBJs. Actually, all these three we're gonna no, DAZ scenes we don't actually need. I think that is not something I need. It's just these two things here. Extract all. Don't show me where that is. I'm gonna trust you. Hasn't done the scene optimizer though, has it? Extract that. See if it works. Yes, absolutely. The DAZ line. That's something I've done. I've done in Photoshop. So I think that's why I need the PSD folder. I think that's referencing that. Let's see how that goes. Scene optimizer is all the downrest bits and pieces that the scene optimizer did. And I believe OBJs we have, right? Yeah, OBJs are in here. Cool. So these two can also go. And this is probably the textures folder, I would imagine. Oh no, stream scenes, right? That is a bit much. Still downloading. Once that's done, we can actually get going here. I think while I'm while I'm waiting for this, I can just go and map that in here. I like it as a tree, I believe. Yeah, that's cool. So on here, I just go right click and say add base directory, and that's in downloads, subway tunnel. All right, perfect. That's now here. And this here, my library, I don't think I want to use that. I'll go and remove that. Perfect. Pause our formats we don't have. There it is, subway tunnel. Okay. Yeah, that didn't quite work out. Oh, I think stream scenes is done. That's awesome. That's awesome. 165 megabytes. Extract all. See if the animation loads. So it'll take a little bit of time for DAZ Studio to install stuff when I open it for the first time. We don't need that anymore either. Hopefully don't need the web browser anymore either. All right, so go and refresh. Here's stream scenes. And in this, I think Subway V11 is the one that we've just saved. So let's go say no. See what happens. This is exciting. I'm looking forward to this now. Very good. So I was expecting that this would happen. DAZ Studio says, these products all need installing. Would you like to do that? And I'm saying, yes, please. Go ahead and do that. See if it works. See if the rest of the animation works. If it does, that would be really good. It would be a really good proof of concept how we can go and utilize a render service like this. It is a little bit of setup work, but when once you've got it, once you've set it up, once you've got it going, especially if you have something like a cloud service connection going, then it's much like just spinning up the instance and making sure everything is in your cloud drive and just go with it. Yes, and that only works with DAZ assets, or the ones that you've bought from the DAZ marketplace. So with Renderosity assets, that doesn't work, which, you know, is understandable because the DAZ Studio can use that API. You can install assets you don't have installed directly via DAZ Studio as well. You can do that too. It's a bit like using DAZ Central for that. I'm a big fan of Install Manager still, so. Yeah, but the cool thing is, I might not know if I'm opening a scene file I might not know what files I've used, what products I've used for that. So it's kind of good to have DAZ Studio just do all this in the background. And if you make an effort to save out everything else as a library that you can transport, then you're good. So even if you've bought something, say you're working on a project and you're using 5 products from Renderosity, then grab those 5 products, install them into a separate folder and map that folder into DAZ Studio and use the products from there. And that is then, you can just go take that whole folder and just map it to your other instance of DAZ Studio, and then it will find the files in there. Yeah, look into face controls. Face controls is kind of cool. It gives you a faceplate, much like the 8.1 faceplate, but it comes with its own faceplate. And I think they've used that on the 8.1 product. But it gives you a ton of expressions that you can use. Oh, here we go. It's getting interesting. Oh my. I don't see gray boxes. This looks very promising. We have the people. We have our main character here. This looks very promising, boys and girls. I'm extremely excited about this. Ooh, that is very, very cool. Let's just see. Oh yeah, this is my draw settings. I just want to switch that off. When you use your universal manipulator and the surfaces highlight, that's not my cup of tea. Bounding box only, please. There, that's much better. So, what were to happen if we switch this to the iRay viewport? Oh my god. Somewhere in Vietnam, A huge power surge is about to happen. Let's see. Right, Jeremy, that is a good idea. To conserve bandwidth, absolutely. That is not bad either. What happens if we go and move to a different frame? How quickly can that happen? Doesn't look all that different to my system's performance, but that's just the viewport, so it's not quite the actual render. So let's go and switch this back to filament now. And let me just go and do a timed render here. Like, this seems to be a good spot here. I'll say still image, and let's just be a new window with 200 iterations. Let's say 500 iterations. How long will that take? With the denoiser on. Let's see. Let's watch it in the window over here. What happens? My God, device 0, 1, 2, and 3. .500 iterations in, let's call it, about 35 seconds. 35 seconds. That's kind of crazy considering the amount of geometry that's happening here. That is seriously crazy. That's amazing. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Let's try 1,000. 1,000 iterations. Because 1,000, that would be. Can we make that in just under a minute, please? That would be amazing. 1,000 iterations. Can we squeeze that into under a minute? Because a lot of the render time in quotation marks isn't actually rendering. Look, like 15, 17 seconds was just loading things into the memory. That's where the scene optimizer also comes in. So I've made the maps smaller, and that really decreases loading times or render times, just because it doesn't take a minute or two just to render all the stuff into the GPUs and then starts rendering. It does this much faster. Can we do this 1,000 iterations? Can you do it, buddy boy? Come on. Yes, we can do it. I think we can just about do it. 56 seconds for 1,000 iterations. That's good. And that's here with a lot of characters in there. So let's see what happens kind of closer to the end. Somewhere like maybe closer to the DAZ icon here. Let's do that. What happens here? I love doing tests like this. This is really fun. I'm really happy that I can share this with you. This is very, very cool. Device 0, 1, 2, and 3. Imagine what would have happened had we used the 3090 server. I mean, this is only for 3080 cards. Only. That's the slow ones. Well, absolutely, me too. I bought one 3060. That's for my streaming computer, and I use it as an occasional render node. And look at that. So now we're actually, this is good to know. Now 1,000 iterations in the tunnel just with the logo only take 40 seconds. So that's really, really interesting to know. That is really interesting to know. So we can probably bump that up even further. What happens if we make it 1,500 iterations in the tunnel? That's very cool. Yes, I bought one 3060 just a week or two after Brian bought his, because his 2080 broke, which was a bit of a shame. We're kind of Zotac buddies, Brian and I. We both have the Zotac 2080 cards, and we both had two at one point when you could still get them. And one of his broke, so he invested into a 3060, and I was inspired by that as well. I needed a third one, really, and mine was literally twice as much as it's really worth, as the list price is. So I think this is going to be nice, considering the amount of time we're spending kind of fiddling with this. I think 1,000 iterations is going to be a-okay. Let's go back to this here. If we do that in 1,500 iterations, just to do a little quick test render. This is awesome for animations. This is really cool. So on my system, I think one single 3060 renders 200 iterations in about 1 minute. So in order to get 1,000, I'm looking at 5 minutes. So this does in 1 minute what my single 3060 system does in a minute. My two 3080 cards together, they do it in about 30-40 seconds. Yeah, about 40 odd seconds. So that's 200 iterations. So again, we're doing 5 times the quality. I'm liking it. I wonder if 1,500 is worth it iterations here. I think I'd rather keep it at 1,000 and then finish just slightly under budget. I think I'm going to do that. Hey, this is awesome. Oh, we could do that, or we could render this at 90 frames at 90 frames a second. How many frames would we be looking at then if I say, instead of 60 frames a second, use 90? Then we're looking at 1,800 frames. I'm just going to see how this affects the budget. So at 1,800 frames at about 50 seconds times 50 seconds that's that in seconds, that's that in minutes, that's that in hours. We would do that just about. Do 90 frames a second. Interesting. Could do. And then I finish on budget, probably slightly over. Maybe that's over the top. I can't tell. I might just do it as planned in 60 frames a second. I might just do that. Okay, let's do this. Image series. Not going to the render library. We're going to go and put it into... I think we'll just stay in the downloads folder. And I'll call it Animation V11. Select folder. Subway V11 hyphen. And start 0 and 1200. 1200, there we go. And we're doing it at 1,000, render quality off with denoiser. Okay. Gee, I think that's that. And now we'll just go and sit here, let it rumble, shall we? That's how we do this. And so then this time, about maybe like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the whole animation should be done. That's at least that's the plan. Wow. Ha! That's brilliant. That is pretty cool stuff, isn't it, Brian? Absolutely. And I think that's partly possible because the importing assets was relatively simple. So I've done this many times before on my own network, and you can run into problems if you don't think multi-computers to begin with. So it's really good to put everything into one folder and use that as a single library, map that in DAZ Studio, and anything that you do, save that to that library, including textures, morph files, and anything that your master scene requires, and then just port that scene to the other machine, and then fingers crossed let DAZ Studio sort out the assets. If you have assets from marketplaces other than DAZ Studio, put it try to copy the whole folder. So that might be difficult if you install everything into one library, and then if you have to port a library that's like 100 gigabytes, that might not be possible. So hey, this is exciting. I'm actually done here ahead of time. I didn't think that was going to happen, so I really appreciate that. I suppose I can. What happens if I just log out? Do I just log myself out? Yeah, I suppose I do. And then that's that, isn't it? Wow, that's amazing. I'm finished ahead of time, and I've done this in just about an hour. That's very cool. So I'm very impressed by this. I might cut this out into like a very much speeded up YouTube version and put it up on my main channel. This is cool.